Hello everyone, and welcome back to Scary TV. Be sure to take a second to follow our sponsor on Instagram, Dab Sweats. Today we're going to delve back into why everything about children is spooky, especially their toys. Even more so, their dolls. Did you know that dolls were originally made to contain the souls of the dead so that the living could keep them around, either for good or evil? Eventually, though, they became something we know as cute and lovable for little ones to run around with. They still have hollow bodies, or do they? What spirits might lurk inside their creepy little shell? Let's get into the top 5 true stories of haunted dolls. We are first going to start with a doll that looks like he's having a jolly good time on the seas. This doll is named Robert. A pretty serious name for a doll, though, let's be real. This doll belonged to the author and painter named Robert Eugene Otto. This artist was typically described as eccentric and belonged to a prominent Key West family. The doll was manufactured by the Schiff Company in Germany and was purchased by Otto's grandfather on a trip to Germany in 1904. Otto wore a similar outfit as a child that little Robert wears today, a light blue sailor suit. The doll lived primarily in the attic of the Otto family home and remained there when Otto sold his home to the Myrtle Rooters, who owned it for 20 years until the property was sold to the current owners. In 1994, the doll was donated to the East Mortello Museum in West Florida, where it eventually became a popular tourist attraction. It is annually roasted to the Old Post and Custom House in October. Now that we have the outside experience documented, let's get into the creepy. The doll was known first and foremost to run around the hall, change his facial expressions, and giggle loudly. Some witnesses claimed that the doll would move other dolls around the room and was aware of what went on around him. The doll was also known to disappear around the house and would often reappear in rooms that people hadn't even been in that day. The list of mishaps that the doll had been said to cause is extensive. The doll had been said to cause car accidents, broken bones, job loss, divorce, and a myriad of other misfortunes. Museum visitors who made remarks about the doll, often experienced post-visit misfortunes for disrespecting Robert. A horror film franchise was released in 2015 with 4 sequels that is loosely based on this doll. You can check it out on various streaming platforms. Number 2. Mandy, the doll with the sinister smile. Mandy looks like your normal antique doll. Okay, I know, antique dolls are always creepy. However, Mandy is especially terrifying. Mandy came to the Quesnel Museum in 1991. Her clothing was dirty, and her body was cracked and ripped. This doll had been alive by this time for 90 years. Strange things did not take long to begin occurring around Mandy. The donor of Mandy reported that the doll would be crying in the basement and would find her windows open. Once donating the doll, the crying ceased. Museum staff and volunteers reported their own strange occurrences. Lunches would go missing from the refrigerator and later found in comical places such as the drawer of a desk. Many other things would go missing as well. Pens, books, pictures, and anything else. Oftentimes, when Mandy was placed with other dolls, she would destroy and harm them and had eventually to be placed in her own glass case. Mandy had even had a story published about her in the book Supernatural Stories Around British Columbia. Want to see Mandy yourself? Visit the Quesnel and District Museum and Archives and you experience the horrors for yourself. Number 3. The doll whose hair grows. In 1918, Ikichi Suzuki bought a doll for his sister, Okiku. She loved the doll so much that she gave the doll the same name. Unfortunately, Okiku died a year later due to an intense fever. The family felt lost without her, but built a memorial in their homes for her and placed her beloved doll in the center. One day, the family was looking at the shrine, paying their respects, and noticed that the doll's hair had begun to grow. The doll is now donated to Japan's Manahi Temple, where she is still on display. Her hair continues to grow and is currently 10 inches long. Have these stories been freaky enough for you? No? Well, good. We have 2 more for you. Remember to comment, like, and subscribe. If this video gets 500 likes, we will then post a live interview with someone who has been first-hand with the dolls we've shown. Number 4. Now, I'm sure by now everyone has heard of the doll Annabelle, but did you know the true origin story? Did you know that she actually looks like this? A young aspiring nurse named Donna, she received a Raggedy Ann doll as a birthday present from her mother. Donna and her roommate Angie soon became convinced the doll was evil and cursed. The doll often would move on its own, destroying things in their room, and Ed and Lorraine Warren even believed it was so cursed that it warranted being taken to their occult museum. She resides there still today. Horror master James Wan even turned Annabelle's story into a series of films. Comment below what you thought of the films. Number 5. Let's take a trip down to Mexico City to witness evil incarnate in doll form. We'll be traveling to Isle de las Muñecas, otherwise known as the Island of the Dolls. The land's original caretaker, Don Julian Santana Barrera, found the body of a drowned little girl and one of her dolls nearby. He decided to hang the doll in a tree as a sign of respect and to honor her memory. However, he was quickly haunted by her spirit and potentially possessed and began hanging more and more dolls around the island, trying to appease the ghost and rid himself of this possession. After 50 years of obsessively collecting dolls, Barrera drowned in the exact same spot he found the girl in 2001. That wraps up tonight's video. What did you think? How do you feel about dolls? Should we reach out and interview someone who has had contact with these ghastly toys? Comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.